Once you've worked in the restaurant industry, you know to never treat your wait staff with disrespect. Never treat anyone with disrespect that handles your food, am I right? Anyone else seen the movie Waiting? Sound off in the comments. And while you do that, I'm gonna tell you about the top 10 celebrities exposed by angry waiters here for you on IO. Yo potatoes, welcome back to another IO video. For those that don't know me, I'm Charlotte, your friendly neighborhood spud queen. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you, blah blah blah. So I know it's a bit of a stereotype for actresses to be waiters as well, but I've never actually been a waiter. So I don't have any juicy stories to share with you, but please, if you've ever served a celebrity and you have a great story to tell, let me know in the comments. Subscribe if this is your first time here, and turn on notifications if you haven't already. I know you haven't. I think you should. I think you've been coming here enough that you should just turn on notifications. Let's start things off at number 10 with Will Ferrell. According to a former bartender and Reddit user known as FawQ, Will Ferrell was in town for a stand-up gig with Dimitri Martin, Zach Galifianakis, and Nick Swardson. Will Ferrell is a very quiet person, and he keeps mostly to himself. I'm just as surprised as you are to find out that Will is shy and an introvert, but his shyness is really extreme, to the point where Will didn't want to talk to fans while he was eating out. So much so that this bartender says that Will would go downstairs into the basement and pee into a bucket to avoid talking to anyone. In at number 9, Billy Corgan. Lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan, once got a waiter fired. According to a Reddit post, he went to a restaurant and didn't tip. The waiter then saw him on the beach the next day and asked why he didn't tip. Billy then went back to the restaurant and got the waiter fired. I mean, it is kind of an awkward thing to ask why someone didn't tip. Maybe Billy didn't have the money to tip because we left the Smashing Pumpkins in the year 1990. At number 8 we have John Travolta. If you see Mr. Travolta walk into your restaurant, word of advice, run. A chef confessed to the New York Post that John used to come into his restaurant a lot and was known to freak out if the food wasn't exactly the way he wanted it. He would continue on a tirade until it was served to him perfectly. The good news is John does tip after behaving like a lunatic, so at least there's that. But how much though? How much is that worth? In at number 7 we have Mariah Carey. Are you really surprised that she's on this list? Come on. According to a New York Post report, Mariah brought a huge group with her to a Las Vegas restaurant and made the restaurant stay open late for them. After several hours of bad behavior and a long list of demands, no one in the party left a tip. There was also this incident where she was called out that happened on the night that she was performing at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, where she ordered a lavish meal from Robert's Steakhouse. The chef carefully crafted a meal of lobster tail steak, roast chicken, salmon, crab cakes, pasta, and salad. It was perfect. And meticulously prepared because the chef knew what a pain in the Mariah Carey is. The bill came to $493.67. Mariah's assistant handed them $500 in cash and took back the $6.33 in change. I hope you enjoyed that lobster, Mariah. At number 6 we have Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway has a reputation of being extremely picky and never satisfied when it comes to her food. According to one story from when she was shooting a commercial on set, Anne ordered a poached egg, an English muffin, and an avocado for breakfast. She sent it back once because the egg was too runny, twice because the English muffin was too cold while the egg was being recooked, a third time because the recooked egg was now cold while the English muffin was getting toasted, and the fourth time because she decided that she wanted a fried egg instead. It's a good thing that she's famous, because if she wasn't, word travels around sets fast, and if you treat the crew or the caterers with disrespect, you'll never get booked again. At number 5 we have Catherine Zeta-Jones. We can all be a little impatient sometimes, but generally taking our frustration out on wait staff is frowned upon. They didn't do anything to upset you, so why are you being Catherine Zeta-Jones has the reputation of being a number 1, poor tipper, number 2, she doesn't make eye contact with servers or staff when she's dining out, number 3, she never smiles, and she's also known for making strange requests for items that aren't on the menu. You would think that if you're making wait staff run around and meet your demands for an item that isn't on the menu, she would at least tip well. But apparently she doesn't. 10% or lower is what you can expect serving Catherine Zeta-Jones. At number 4 on our list, it's Usher. Usher apparently thinks his autograph is worth enough to leave at a table instead of paying. Usher also has a no-tip policy. According to an anonymous server who has waited on Usher multiple times, he not only doesn't tip, he expects over-the-top service for himself and everyone he's with, which is usually a large entourage of people. If you're going to eat out and you have someone wait on you, at least treat them with the decency to leave them like a 15%, 20% tip if they were amazing at their job. Otherwise, don't eat out. Call Uber Eats like everyone else and get slapped with like random fees. Like, why the am I paying for cutlery? Not sure what it's like in other places. I know in many places like in Europe, servers make $15 an hour, but in Canada they make $12 an hour, which is less than minimum wage because it's expected that waiters will be tipped. By not tipping a waiter, you are essentially making this waiter pay for your food because a portion of the waiter's earnings goes toward tipping the kitchen. So unless you had absolutely demonstrably bad service, tip your waiters. At number 3 we have Justin Bieber. Celebrity bartender Simon Caporal has served some of the top celebrities on planet Earth, including Angelina Jolie, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kim Kardashian, and Madonna. But Simon doesn't have the best things to say about Justin Bieber. He told the South Morning China Post that he had to kick Bieber out of his bar for acting like an idiot. Not only that, Bieber didn't have his ID. He said, I quote, I asked him for his ID card but he didn't have it, so I told him politely I couldn't serve him a drink. He said it was more revenge on a little spoiled pop singer. This was back in 2014 when Justin Bieber's bad attitude was more than a rampant rumor on social media. At number 2 we have Kendall Jenner. After a meal at Mercer Kitchen in Soho, Manhattan, Kendall Jenner left without paying. According to page 6, Kendall was upset because she was trying to order drinks but she was not served them. She was underage at the time. Jenner's waitress, an actress called Blaine Morris, went on Twitter to claim that she chased Kendall onto the street after she left her with the tab. Kendall then threw money in her face while her friends laughed. Kendall denies all of this. In fact, she got her lawyer involved. Her lawyer said that Kendall did forget to pay, but when the waitress came outside, she was very apologetic and handed her the money. It could be that Blaine Morris made up the story for attention, or Kendall Jenner really did throw money in the face of a server while her minions cackled in the background. We will probably never know for sure, but this isn't the first time that Kendall has been accused of not tipping either. And at number 1 on our list we have Britney Spears. The Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles is not a restaurant where you want to make a spectacle of yourself. This was right in the midst of Britney's very public mental breakdown and substance dependency. Back in 2007, Britney was asked to leave after she allegedly smeared food all over her face. Victoria Beckham was also dining at the restaurant at the time and mentioned to staff that she was acting, quote, weird. She started playing dress up with her dinner. She was then escorted from the hotel and told not to return. According to The Sun, a source said that the diners in the restaurant were disgusted. You wouldn't expect that from a teenager in a fast food joint. Royalty have dined in this restaurant. Her behavior was totally unacceptable. Britney was eventually allowed to return after she got her together, but she's still banned from several LA restaurants for not tipping. According to one incident, she made a server go to a Starbucks to get her a drink. She didn't tip, and she also didn't reimburse him for the drink. Alright guys, tell me your thoughts on this whopper of a list down below, and while you do that, I'm gonna wrap things up with some comment features. Jennifer Brown said, you've earned a new fan, you potato person. Me? Me potato person? You potato person. Who, me? Never. Kimi Lee said, I feel like Charlotte could literally stand there, laugh a few times, and belch and we'd all still watch. Probably. A-Rod said, Madonna doesn't like germs yet has no problem shoving her tongue down Drake's mouth. Oh, shots fired. That's it for me. Leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'll see you bitches next time. According to a former bartender and Reddit user known as FawQ, I just realized what that said. Saying it out loud. I realized that. Will Ferrell was in town for a stand-up gig with Demetri Martin, Zach Galifianakis, and Will Ferrell was in town for a Zach. Oh my Christ! What the? Sorry, whoever has to edit this. My bad. Swig Nordson. This was back in 2014 when Justin Bieber's bad attitude was more than a